Hello, everybody. Are you there? We've gone live. I am Gary for Bizarre Brain Comics. There we go. Howdy. Anybody out there? No one there yet. Eh, maybe I missed because I'm a couple minutes late. Hobbling around, it takes a little while longer. But we'll see. We'll see if anybody comes on. Well, yeah. Last time I told you I had a slip and fall and screwed up my knee, and I just had knee surgery, and I'm still hobbling around, and and yeah, still hobbling around. But last week I started physical therapy, so it's getting better. I can kind of move it just a tiny bit, move my knee just a tiny bit. So far, still nobody. But I told you, I put the thing out. I was going to have the live stream last time I did one on Buck Rogers of the comic strips. So this time I was going to do Flash Gordon of the comic strips. I don't know what, if anything, I'm going to do next month. We'll see. Oh, I got somebody on there. Hello. Say hi. And they're gone. Oh well. Um, the Everybody knows a little bit about Flash Gordon. He is uh, a fixture of the culture, and of course, especially from the 30s and 40s movie serials. Starring Buster Crabbe, who also starred as Buck Rogers in the movie serials, and of course. There was say hi out there, people. I can see I got two on the line, and there were two. How was it? There was two Flash Gordon, right? And then in the 50s there was. I mean, and that got showed for perennially on television. Then there was a 1950s. I think it was for two seasons. 1950s TV series of Flash Gordon, which bore little resemblance to this comic strip, but it was still enjoyable. I have a few episodes on DVD, and that starred not Tom Holland, Steve Holland, and uh, and for those of you who are real nerds, if you happen to watch an episode of that, hello, I can't make that out. Of course, it's always too small to read. And said hi, and then Jeff, hi Jeff, glad to see y'all on board. And of course, Steve Holland. Uh, if you're a real nerd, if you watch an episode of the Flash Gordon, said he looks familiar for some reason. Said he should, because if you're a real nerd and uh, uh, have read or at least seen a bunch of the Doc Savage novels. Doc Savage looks like Steve Holland because he was for many years in the 60s and 70s he was an artist's model, and he was the model for all those Doc Savage covers, and the cover for the Avenger as well, also by Kenneth Robeson, as well as a whole host of other paperback covers, especially a lot of westerns and men's adventure. Uh, yeah, so that was Steve Holland. And of course, we didn't have anything in the 70s of him until the movie, and then of course then we had in the mid 80s. There was a really great. I can't remember what. Hey, dope. Good to see you. And then of course in the hello, I can't make that one out. Uh, in the 80s had a really great animated series, which is probably uh, the was it Filmation? I can't remember which. Uh, who produced it, and that was probably the closest to the original comic strip. And then there was um, uh, uh, Defenders of the Earth with a bunch of other characters, and of course the main villain on that was Ming the Merciless. Then they had in the '90s they had that really terrible animated version. It had Flash as a teenager riding on a flying skateboard, and he had that stupid kind of a bowl cut, made him look like a dopey Rob Liefeld clone, and and so here I'm going to briefly show you this. From they had a whole bunch of Flash Gordons. I think it was about 5 or 6 volumes. I think I've got all of them. You definitely own a. Oh no, definitely not. No slaves. Had this. And of course, sorry, it's reversed. That's unfortunate. A series of novels that were supposedly, at least based on on the original comic strips. If so, they took a lot of liberties, which is fine. Danny, is that those ones with Dan Barry? No, these are novels. These ones are novels. I'm going to get to the ones with Dan Barry. These are prose novels. They had 5 or 6 of them, and I think it's Mel Odom, not Mel Odom. I think it's Mo Golub doing the cover paintings, but I'm not positive on that. Some really nice ones. And okay, I wanted to show you this. Whoops! While we're still waiting, I'm back down to 3. Is about 25 years ago, this company come out with here's a Flash Gordon figure, but it's not actually a Flash Gordon figure. They were doing Captain Action, and what you do, what they did, but they would Captain Action from the '60s, and you get the action figure, you can play with that one, but you could get all these costumes so that he could be all these other heroes like the Lone Ranger and Superman and what have you. Beard together. Yeah. Fork. That's right. I'm Magnus Forkbeard. So here we have, if you can see it. I know I've showed this. I've showed everything here before. So this is Captain Action, and it's you can't see it there, but it's the figure. I've never taken it out of the box, and I've had this for 25 years, and he's got a mask on. The figure's got a mask on it, a Flash Gordon mask. So I don't even know what that action figure actually looks like. And then of course, you got to have villain to go along with it. And there's Ming the Merciless, and that is his villain, Doctor Evil. With his costume of Ming the Merciless and all that glare on that plastic, and he's got a mask on it too, so you still don't know what Doctor Evil looks like. And the box art on these was done by the Carmine Infantino. Must have been very late in his life, and so now we're going to get to. Now I'll show you this while I'm reading this. This is, of course, still reversed. This happens to be the comic adaptation, and I did an episode on this one. Comic adaptation of the Flash Gordon movie, done by Al Williamson. Some really great stuff. And he did a wonderful job. He was always, and he did some other Flash Gordon stuff. So anyway, for those who don't know, this is Flash Gordon of the comic strips. And of course, Flash Gordon is a space adventure comic strip created by the great Alex Raymond. What's my favorite spaghetti? Spaghetti! I like it with the red sauce and with Italian sausage. Oh, and I said, would my girlfriend let me hit? I don't know. Sorry I'm late. Oh, no problem. Dang, I love comics. Yeah, you do. If you're here, you probably do love comics. Where was I? Oh yeah, this comic strip created by Alex Raymond, and it started in 1934. But the strip was created to be a direct competition for the Buck Rogers comic strip, which is just a couple years before, which I talked about last week. And it was initially just a Sunday comic strip. Ken Flash with his love interest Dale Arden, who was basically initially there to be the love interest and the captive for the damsel to be saved, and of course with scientist Dr. Hans Zarkov, and they crash on planet Mongo, ruled by the evil Emperor Ming the Merciless, and that it was another one who, unfortunately, because of the Yellow Peril racist scare of the 30s, which was also in Buck Rogers. Um, Can Flash and company make friends and allies among the people of Mongo to fight Ming? Eventually, they return to Earth, and with a soft reboot, he is a colonel in the Space Force, and they have many other space adventures, occasionally returning to Mongo. Okay, and the daily strip started in 1941 by Austin Briggs, and Alex Raymond, because Alex Raymond left the Sundays in 1944 to join the Marines. Then Briggs took over the Sunday strip, and Briggs was then succeeded by Mac Rayboy, and he did it until his death in '67. Mac Rayboy, he did Captain Marvel Jr. I think. I'm forgetting to look. Great comic, yo, howdy. Is that Rain '69? And you remind me of Jack Blake. I don't know who Jack Blake is. Sorry. Yeah, '67. Then Dan Barry took over until 1990, and but of course I mentioned some of the other media he was in. Of course, movie serials, TV shows, movies. Don't forget radio shows as well as comic books. Now, if you're like me, an old time radio fan, there are a lot of old time radio shows, and I think probably some Flash Gordon on YouTube. And if not there are just Google for free old time radios, and there's because I have an app on mine. It has a bunch of old time radio, mystery, horror, comedy, and Flash Gordon. Unfortunately, they don't have the Buck Rogers. I have a few episodes on tape as well. Say, hey, do you have GI Joe comics? I have very few GI Joe comics. I used to have a few, but not very many. So that's it for that part. So Flash Gordon, Alex Raymond, and I want to show you some books here. And again, I've shown all of these books at other times in other contexts. And here's a great one. This book was from this. I forgot what year this book was published. I'm thinking. Oh, I can't find it. Anyway, starts at the very beginning of the comic strip by Alex Raymond, and even in the course of this book, and of course, it's beautiful artwork. And, the rocket ships and going to Mongo, and he has some wonderful artwork, and he has very plain page layouts. But over months and a couple of years, his page layouts began to change a little bit, and his artwork got better. So he was a master, and of course Alex Raymond was a great influence on virtually every. Oh, that page is coming out. Comic artist after him, including especially Al Williamson, who then eventually kind of did a lot of Flash Gordon-y stuff. So that's that book, Flash Gordon on Mongo. And then here's some later times. This book is from 35 to 37, so it's still relatively early. But you can still see his draftsmanship really beautiful. I mean, he was a master. Well, he and Hal, getting old sucks. Hal Foster. Oh, jeez, they were truly the masters, as well as later Bern Hogarth. Truly the masters of the comic strip. And they could tell a fine story. Sure, sometimes they're kind of silly. And Flash Gordon was partially inspired by. Okay, and that happens to be a volume 2 from Kitchen Sink Press, and this one here is volume 4 from Kitchen Sink Press. Still Alex Raymond, and partially inspired by Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter of Mars books, the Barsoom books. And from what I understand, initially that's what they wanted to do for a comic strip. Couldn't get the rights, so they created an original character that was not entirely dissimilar. Oops, from it. Some really nice stuff. And Alex Raymond. Oh, got something else here. Look, I came here to troll you, old timer, but since I love comics, I will leave in peace. Well, you don't have to troll me, or you don't have to leave. I'm just trying to share my love of the comics medium, and whether it's in comic strips, comic books, and any genre. I love the storytelling and sequential art. Okay, and that was what I said. And then here I mentioned Austin Briggs. I had this one, a little flimsy little one here. This is from the 40s, Austin Briggs. And this was from the daily strips, and this happened to be it's 1940 to the daily strips from 527 to 826, 1940. So this would have been real early on the daily strips, and you can see still some really nice artwork. Flash Gordon was lucky; he had virtually all of the artists for the comic strips were outstanding artists, and comic books were almost as good. A few days ago, I did one on a comic book of Flash Gordon with Pat Boyette, and Pat Boyette is a great artist. I love his stuff. He just was not as his Flash Gordon just is not as pleasing as what we're used to seeing from stuff like this. This one is Mac Rayboy's Flash Gordon. So this was volume 1. It's the only one I've got, and it is just some beautiful stuff. Well, Madame Gaston, you don't have to leave if you don't want to. No, it's okay. I have respect for comics lovers, but my lust to troll is strong. I don't care. Anyway, just don't be mean. But his stuff is really beautiful. And he did the Sundays until his death. And what year was that? I think 67. I think is what it said. Of course, these are all reversed images, and I don't know how well you can see them. But those are some really nice ones. Oh, meatballs. You goated. I goaded? What did I goat? Yeah. Okay, and then, but there are all kinds of the artists, and sometimes you don't know who the writer was. But here in this book here, this is also from Kitchen Sink Press. This is when Dan Barry was doing the art, and it was earlier when he was doing the art, and he did. It was written by Harvey Kurtzman. Yeah, Harvey Kurtzman from Mad Magazine, and he was a good at spinning a story, and so here's some really nice. And this is from dailies, but of course, as time went on, the strips got smaller. The daily strips got space in the newspaper got smaller, and you couldn't put as much detail until eventually they're so small you really can't do an adventure strip on a daily basis because the panels are too small. See, and this is some early Dan Barry. This is some really nice stuff. But then they had what publisher was this? I don't know. Tempo Books had a series of Flash Gordon paperbacks. I think it's five because I just dug out three of them. I think I've got all five of them. This one here happens to be number two, no, number one, Flash Gordon. This by someone asked about that earlier. These are the ones he was talking about. Get away from there, kitty. Uh, uh, by Dan Barry. I don't know who the writer was, but it's still some really nice stuff. See if you can see it. And the the panels, of course, by this time they've gotten smaller and have to be simplified. Says those are the ones. Yeah, Bob Fujitani is on some of those. It could be. I don't know. Uh, Usually gives a flash score. And these are I've read these so many times. Some really nice stuff. So that one's number one. This one here is volume four. Has Boris Vallejo line drawing cover instead of painted cover, and which is surprising because all the others had covers like the previous ones had covers like this that were from one of the Dan Barry panels. And this is Boris Vallejo, of course, still. It's nice, various nice space adventures. Oh, and I want to mention, did you see the Flash Gordon TV series on Sci-Fi Channel? It was about 10 or 12 years or so ago. I keep come close to knocking that thing over. Uh, what is your favorite comics? It's hard. I love all genres. So, Tarzan, Superman, Batman, um, Wonder Woman. Even though I haven't gotten much in the way of any of the new stuff from any of those titles in recent years. Uh, Still, some of the Dan Barry stuff. A lot of glare. There we go. Some glare. And then this, but then here is this. This one is volume 5. I think this was the last one. There might have been one after that, which is a painted cover. So I guess maybe so it looks more like the paperback novels on the book racks, and didn't care have as much stuff in there. I meant to bring something else up and I forgot to do it, but Bob Fujitani, of course, did the first issue of Doctor Solar. Yeah, that's where I knew the name. Yeah, he was good. I liked his stuff. The one with Dan Barry and Bob Fujitani, signature both claimed he drew those. It's possible. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't read those in quite a while. And then now I showed some of these before, and I've just got dug out this one issue because it's got Flash Gordon on the cover, even though it's not the best illustration. Comics Review magazine. These are from the 90s or early 2000s, 93. Yeah, this is from 93, from early 90s, and these were closer to the time of publication. And this is by Tom Workington. But most of the stuff reprinted in Comics Review was done by Dan Barry. Not all of it, but most of it. And see, even here, it's slightly more stylized, but I just love all of that stuff. Now, I was starting to say about that Flash Gordon TV series from. Could I get the Messenger Kids, please? I don't know what that means. I subbed. Thank you. Is that the Scully tag? Is that? Am I reading that right? And had a very short-lived Flash Gordon TV series on the Sci-Fi Channel. I said about 10 or 12 years ago. It's hard to remember anymore. Remember how long anything was in the past. And I watched it. I wanted to like it. It sucked. I'm sorry. They kept having him bopping, like being transported back and forth between Mongo and Earth. So, Scully Gorilla Tag. Oh, Ongawa. That's for the gorilla part. Okay. Oh, and I meant to bring up something else, and I forgot to do it, and all, and I can't now because I'm in my chair and I'm all hobbled up, and that makes me mad. Singing, not singing. It's the Tarzan yell. Oh, always wondered during the Alex Raymond days how many of the men were checking it out just to see the sexy ladies? Yes, I bet because did marvelous women, and that also had to be a draw, because well, kids comic strips were not just for kids; they were always for the adults too. That's why sometimes they were had stories on different levels. Smiley face and Jackson Hunkle. I'm reading that right. And any questions that I might be able to answer? I was going to last time someone asked about some of my artwork, and I was going to bring up one of my sketchbooks, and I forgot to bring it. And so I can't hobble downstairs and get it back up. It would take me 10 minutes to get downstairs. So, lava chicken. What's lava chicken? I don't know. But any questions that I might be able to answer, or maybe not? I don't know. Maybe someone else can know something. I mean, that's is not quite all of my Flash Gordon stuff. I do have a few other books. I just didn't want to dig them all out because this was bad enough. Well, I can't babble by myself. I got to have something. I don't care if you pass the gas. Oh, but I love Flash Gordon. I love comic books, comic strips, and I do episodes on my regular channel. Uh, uh, Episodes on occasionally regular comic strips too, humor strips. Um, Sometime in the relatively near future, I want to do. Oh come on, Calvin and Hobbes, and The Far Side. Two of my favorite humor strips. What comics did you buy and read? Do you buy and read monthly? I don't buy any titles. I buy very few new ones just because of primarily because of the expense, and most of the ones that I do buy anymore are from the dollar bins, and stores that still have dollar bins or and stuff like that. Really like stuff from the Bronze Age, but Silver Age and Golden Age if I can get them. But bro, your art is very inspiring for me because I love to draw and make comic books. Well, good job, good deal. I like to hear that. We like to like. That's right. I didn't bring them up to show you, but remember I've got two books available online from Amazon. Bizarre Brain Comics presents Bizarre Brain Comics Anthology, which is some humor and a little adventure, and Bizarre Brain Comics presents Heroes, which is mostly science superheroes with a couple of horror stories, a western story, and stuff like that. $7.99 each on Amazon, Barnes and Noble online store, and some other stuff. Just Google the titles, and you can find them. Gadbert, I can't make it out from Jackson's uncle. Where can we see your comic art? Well, those books right there, and I have shown some stuff. One of my early episodes, I did a whole episode just on some of my comic pages, mostly stuff that was water damaged. Um, so uh, uh, um, I don't remember what episode it was, but put in the subject title, Bizarre Brain Comics, Water Damaged Art, and you should find that one and see some other. And of course, I usually use some of my drawings as backdrop on my regular. Oh, sorry, I just draw by myself. Well, it is kind of a solitary thing. You don't usually need anybody unless you need a model or something. But Gabriel is not polished anymore. anywhere. Oh, not published anywhere. Well, I wasn't either. Did mine self-published, although I have been published in a couple of small from small publishers years and years ago, and a lot of those publishers don't most they don't exist anymore, and didn't get any money for them. Got contributor copies, and that was about it. Grandpa, Grandpa, what do you mean, Grandpa? I'm nobody's grandpa, although I could be old enough to, but don't have any kids, so don't have any grandkids. And the closest thing I've had to kids were the two dogs we had. Now we've got a cat that hangs around. It's not even our sitting over there. It's not even our cat, but he spends all his time over here. He lives across the cul-de-sac. Well, can you be my grandpa? Well, I don't know. Don't you have a grandpa of your own? I don't have a grandpa anymore. They're all gone. Still have a dad though. He just turned 100 last year. But okay. Oh, I'm sorry. He died. Danny boy, have you ever done an episode on Dark Shadows #1 from Gold Key? No, I've never done any Dark Shadows. I think I have one copy or one issue of Dark Shadows without a cover, if I still have that one. I would love to have some Dark Shadows, really, because I saw something had an ad for all these reprint volumes of Dark Shadows, and I think they had like 5 volumes. I didn't know they had done that many Dark Shadows comics, because it's just one you just never see anymore. Who are we killing today, great sage? Hopefully no one. No one. But in spite of the swords on the wall behind me and all the skulls. Can you see those skulls up there on the mantle? Yeah. But but if that's all, I'm down to one person left. Tell us a bit about your sword collection in the background. Well, actually, see that cavalry saber, which is right there, that one's mine. The other swords and swords that you can't see up here belong to my wife. Plus there's one over there, and one that you can just barely see right here. This here is the father sword from Conan the Barbarian, the sword that Conan's father made that was stolen when his father was killed. And this one here, we go to the Renaissance festivals, and this one here, my wife, she got that from, I think it's Badger Blades. I'm not positive. She's got one of the swords from Lord of the Rings over yonder. Got another cheap wall hanger over here that I got her. Another really good one over there that you can't see. And I've got swords downstairs in the bedroom. And have the Clan MacLeod sword and various others. Arabian Cutlass. And just stuff like that. I don't have any from the movies, but that is about it. China has been also recently bought the Creepshow comics too. I haven't. I got several of the Creepshow comics last year. I still haven't read them all, and but they had the new series that they had. I haven't got any of those, but I like the Creepshow ones. When I can, I like to get like House of Secrets and House of Mystery, any of those, and any of the Charlton horror comics from the 70s. Those are some of my favorites because I didn't get them much at the time, and I wished I had. So I think that's probably about it that I can think of. Who is your favorite artist that drew Flash Gordon. Oh, they were also great, but my favorite's got to be Alex Raymond himself. He was the really the best. Uh, and then of course Al Williamson and some of the comic books, uh, but they're also good. Mac Rayboy, fantastic. And so, is that all we've got? We've got six right now. Keep going. We're just in time for me to say. I think I think I probably ought to call it quits because I'm running out of things to say, and I got a bunch of stuff to put away before my wife gets home from her bee meeting. Yeah, bee meeting. She's a beekeeper. She has some beehives in the backyard, and she and gets they produce honey, and she's got a meeting for her bee club, beekeepers club. So I think that's all I've got to share with you this time. If you want, let's see, and over there's another sword, and we've got there's some armor from a 13th warrior, and she makes great armor. I've got several bits of her armor downstairs. She made armor for me for the Renaissance Festival, out of leather, and I'm no good at doing the costuming. I used to do the Klingon heads for our club, but okay, that's all. Bye bye. Now, if I can figure out how to shut this off again, I always have difficulty. Ha ha! Have a good one! And remember, comics are art! Thank you for joining me. I always have difficulty with this part. There we go.